What's happening, internet? It's Marshall here. I'm doing a video for you today. It's January 23rd, 2017. Happy New Year if you still need to be wished that. I'm coming to you from Denver, and I'm going to talk about the Behringer DeepMind 12. It's a new 12-voice polyphonic analog synthesizer that Behringer has come out with. And Behringer, many of you who are watching this probably know Behringer's not known for synths because they've never made one before, to my knowledge anyway. So it's pretty exciting. There's quite a few videos online already, so if you're interested in checking out patches and things like that, be sure to check those videos out. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys kind of a first-person view that I did with the HoloLens, playing the DeepMind 12 in a track that I'm working on, and we'll kind of go through that here in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about my experience with getting this synthesizer, because it was problematic at first. But luckily, I've got some good folks over at Sweetwater who really came through for me. Basically, I received the DeepMind 12 last Tuesday, I believe. And I opened it up, powered it up, and the first thing I see is an error. And I will show you what that error looked like as soon as it loads from my OneDrive here. Actually, this is not the error, but as you can see here, the voice version, make it big here, and the DSP version are missing from this. So the startup, let me see if I can find it here. Here's one of them. I got two errors, one for the DSP and one for the voices not booting. So here's the DSP boot failure message that I received when I first powered this thing up. Not a good sign. And then the voice boot failure is here. And then, of course, the other picture I showed you was of the software version's all messed up. So yeah, it's not good, right? No, that's not good. Not a good experience for a first synthesizer from a company that's never made synthesizers before. But so I mean, I was really excited to get this thing, and I was really kind of sad when this happened. But it's a version, it's a brand new product from a company that's never produced synths before. So I'm not upset in terms of that. Again, what I was more upset about was just the fact that my order came through and it was a DOA synth. But again, Sweetwater really came through on this. Overnighted me a new one via FedEx, and it showed up here, and that one worked great. So, and they made sure they tested it and everything for me ahead of time to make sure they didn't send me another bad one. And I did see, after posting this in a couple of forums, not forums, but Facebook groups, synthesizer Facebook groups that I'm a part of, a gentleman reached out and showed me a Reddit thread with some other individuals having the exact same problem. So, and I've read a few other things, other people having some issues with other things, not just the specific issue that I had. Again, brand new company making synths. And so I'm not shocked. I mean, the release date was supposed to be end of 2016 anyway. And we all didn't start receiving them until January. Again, no problems there. The other thing is with the HoloLens here, if any of you saw the NAMM coverage in 2016, I believe it was, and I think they even probably had something for this year, the 2017 NAMM show. They showed off an augmented reality application, even though technically it's mixed reality. But augmented reality, I mean, Microsoft prefers to call it mixed reality. To the layman, it's going to be augmented reality. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I had actually reached out to those guys when I pre-ordered the synth and said, hey, is there any way I can get a hold of that app? I would like to try it out. And unfortunately, apparently, it's got some Microsoft personnel involved. It's apparently something that they're not going to let me use to try out. I would love to try it out. So Behringer, Microsoft, if you see this video, I'd be very interested in testing out that interface and showing it to other people online here. Otherwise, I mean, I've been doing some development for HoloLens, and I may try something on my own. The real question is trying to figure out how to communicate between the HoloLens and the synthesizer. And actually, I think the way I can make it work is with the Bluetooth, a MIDI to Bluetooth dongle, sync that with the HoloLens, and then I think I can send communications that way, possibly. We'll see if that's going to work the way I think it will. I don't know yet, but we've got some other projects I'm working on for the HoloLens, but once I kind of get those out of the way, I'll probably move on and try to do some of that. So if you're interested in any of the HoloLens things, be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll have some videos on that as well as more videos coming up on the DeepMind 12 and other synthesizers and projects, music projects I'm working on. So thanks for watching this. And yeah, let's get to the project, the music project. So this is the Ableton file that I've created for this. Right now it's pretty basic. Usually my tracks are quite a bit more involved, but for this was a quick, just wanted to show the capabilities of the DeepMind 12 in a real type production type setting. So I am using the TR-09 from Roland, which I love that thing. For the percussion, in terms of the crash is TR-09, the clap here is TR-09. There's a second clap that I have that's a sampled clap from one of my many sample libraries. Then the hi-hats, of course, TR-09, snares TR-09. Then what we're doing is I'm using Serum. This is a razor, 8-bar razor effect, just a preset there. Then I'm using Synthmaster's. Let me get to it here. Synthmaster 2 for this. And it's want me to upgrade. No, I don't. This is kind of like the melody that you hear. You'll know when you hear it. Kind of the lead melody. Then I have a grouping here of Omnisphere. This is actually kind of a background type thing. It's not very prominent in the track right now, and that's something that when I go through and develop this track further, because I really like kind of how it's going already, so I'm going to continue on with this. But yeah, it's kind of an atmospheric type sound in the background. Then I've got a noise that I actually created with the Arturia Mini Moog V2, and literally all it is white noise. All the oscillators are turned off. I created this patch myself, and then just sweeping the cutoff filter, and then adding some chorus on here, and that's about it for that. This is my TR-09 audio. So basically, all over here, I've got the Kick 2 plugin for my kick drum. And basically all these MIDI channels here that don't have any audio attached to them, these are the TR-09 being routed to the audio channel here. And the reason why I had to do this was because the TR-09, well, I should say the reason why I did this is because when I go through, right now everything that I have in here plays directly off of MIDI, either into the hardware or through the VSTs in real time. So none of this has been rendered out into actual audio. Now, when I go through and I do that, I want to have separate audio tracks for my hi-hats, for my snare drums, for everything, especially with the percussion, because you have a lot more control than when you're doing your mixing to get things in the right position, so to speak, right? So with the TR-09, it's limited by the number of outputs. In fact, the way you get to the additional audio outputs is by changing your DAW to use the TR-09 as audio interface. That ain't gonna work for me. It's a big hassle. So what I've done is I've just created separate MIDI channels on channel 10, one for each set of sounds that I want to do. And then in the clips here, I've just literally programmed these in. Let's go to the hi-hats here because there's a little more data in here. Yeah, and then what I will do is when it's time to render everything to audio, once I have the composition the way I want it, I will simply just mute the tracks from the TR-09, the MIDI tracks that I do not want to record at the time, and then just record each set of sounds one at a time that way. And then when I go through and do my my final mixing adjustments and mastering, I'll have the control that I need without having to go through a bunch of muck, switching audio interfaces back and forth and all that good stuff. So I found a good workaround there for that. So if you have a TR-09, hopefully that'll help you in your workflow. Yeah, so this is about it. And then the DeepMind 12, now what I've done is I've got a 003 interface running inputs 5 and 6. And actually I've got this routed into a patch bay, which then goes into the 003. But I basically split the left and right channels so I can get a little bit more stereo imaging here. And that's just audio coming straight in because I'll be playing the DeepMind 12 live. The patch that I'm using on the DeepMind 12 started out as a preset, and I went through and kind of edited it a little bit. Edited? Can anyone say that word 10 times fast? And then what I've also done is I have a bass sound here that I'm also triggering along with the DeepMind 12. This is an Omnisphere bass patch. And this way I get a little bit more low end, but basically more kind of in the sub bass type range to fill in the low end of the bass line. Because literally the DeepMind 12 sound is kind of the bass / mid-range sound that you'll hear. It's an arpeggio. And then I needed to add this to give it a little more oomph on the low end. And it sounds really good. Now, even without this, it sounds pretty good. I'm sure if I EQ'd out the DeepMind 12 a little bit more, boosted up the low end frequencies, I could probably get it to sound pretty good. But I tend not to do that because that's how you start getting really muddy sounding mixes, in my opinion. So I usually have just a separate sub bass sound that I implement as a separate layer. And that just kind of helps clean things out. Also, I do have a little bit of processing on the DeepMind 12, so it's not a straight out audio signal. As you can see, I've got an EQ here where I actually cut some of the low frequencies out. That's pretty common because I don't want it to interfere too much with the kick drum and that sub bass. And then I am using the LFO tool to do a little bit of sidechain compression. It's not really anything that you can even hear. It's just something, again, to give a little bit more room to the kick drum in the mix. So a little bit of processing, nothing major. So what you're going to hear from the DeepMind 12 is pretty much legit from the DeepMind 12. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to that video as I've got to set up the HoloLens. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this. Again, I'll have plenty more coming up. I appreciate your support.